Jenelle Evans was granted sole custody of her daughter Ensley this week. The Teen Mom star initially filed for custody of the 7-year-old in February after she split up with David Eason. Now, a judge has decided to award Jenelle with sole and legal custody of Ensley after David was declared unfit. Here is what happened. Judge rules David Eason to be unfit. The best interest of Ensley would be served for sole physical and legal custody to be awarded to Ms. Eason today, with there to be supervised visitation held off, unless and until a psychological evaluation for David has been completed, the North Carolina judge told the court. In addition to being awarded sole custody, the judge made it known that they did not think Jenelle Evans should allow Ensley to visit her dad while he was living on the broken-down boat. Based on the evidence and testimony presented here, the defendant, David, does not reside in a place that would be safe and suitable for the minor child, the judge declared. The judge went on to say that Jenelle Evans is physically, mentally, and emotionally able to provide consistent active care for Ensley. However, the Teen Mom star was looking for the court's permission to have her daughter film for upcoming episodes of the next chapter. Both of Jenelle's other kids, Jason Kaiser, have been filming for the MTV show. David Eason has refused to sign off to allow Ensley to be involved. Jenelle mentioned in court that her ex was attempting to use it as leverage against her. He said he'd sign off on Ensley being on the show if he'd be allowed back on the property to gain access to some of his things, like his dirt bike. I explained to him that this is in her best interest and that all my other kids are being compensated, but she's not, she explained to the judge. That is no longer a worry for her, though, because her ex hasn't shown up for any of the court appearances. She's able to make the decision about whether or not Ensley can film. Jenelle Evans' ex was on TikTok. When he was due in court, David didn't show up to custody court to fight for his right to see his daughter. Instead, he was on TikTok Live with his new girlfriend, Kenley Heatwole. The fired Teen Mom 2 dad was doing cartwheels on TikTok and being given tips from his followers. On top of not showing up for the custody hearing, David hasn't attempted to contact Jenelle to speak with Ensley since March. Jenelle said that she doesn't know why he hasn't reached out to try to see his daughter. He also didn't provide any money for Ensley's care in that time. In fact, the Teen Mom star is paying about $1,000 per month to cover David's rental fee to stay on the boat. Since David didn't appear in court, the judge requested that he be informed of everything that happened via email. The next court date for custody and divorce issues is set for October. Jenelle Evans, a star from the popular reality TV show Teen Mom, has been granted sole custody of her 7-year-old daughter, Ensley. This significant legal development comes after a tumultuous period following her split from David Eason. The custody battle, which began in February, has finally reached a resolution with a judge ruling in favor of Jenelle. Here's a comprehensive look at the events leading up to this decision and its implications. The custody battle. Jenelle Evans initially filed for custody of Ensley in February 2023, following her separation from David Eason. The court proceedings were intense, with both parties presenting their cases to determine what would be in the best interest of the child. The judge's decision was based on a thorough evaluation of the evidence and testimony presented. Judge's ruling. The judge ruled that the best interest of Ensley would be served by awarding sole physical and legal custody to Jenelle Evans. This decision was made after David Eason was declared unfit to care for the child. The judge emphasized that David does not reside in a safe and suitable environment for Ensley. Specifically, the judge noted that David's living conditions on a broken-down boat were not conducive to the well-being of a minor child. Supervised visitation. The judge also ordered that any visitation between Ensley and David must be supervised until a psychological evaluation of David is completed. This evaluation is crucial to ensure that David is mentally and emotionally stable enough to interact with Ensley in a safe and positive manner. Jenelle's capabilities. The judge praised Jenelle Evans, stating that she is physically, mentally, and emotionally able to provide consistent active care for Ensley. This endorsement highlights Jenelle's commitment and capability as a parent, despite the challenges she has faced. Filming for the next chapter. One of the contentious issues during the custody battle was Jenelle's request to have Ensley film for upcoming episodes of The Next Chapter, the spin-off of Teen Mom. Jenelle's other children, Jason Kaiser, have been involved in the show, and she sought permission to include Ensley as well. However, David Eason refused to sign off on this, using it as leverage against Jenelle. He demanded access to his belongings, including his dirt bike, in exchange for his consent. Jenelle explained to the judge that allowing Ensley to film would be in the child's best interest, and that her other children were being compensated for their participation. Since David has not shown up for any of the court appearances, Jenelle is now free to make the decision about Ensley's involvement in the show without his interference. David's absence and TikTok controversy. David. Eason's absence from the custody hearing was a significant factor in the judge's decision. Instead of attending the court proceedings, David was on TikTok Live with his new girlfriend, Kenley Heatwell. He was performing cartwheels and engaging with his followers, which drew criticism from many who felt he was prioritizing social media over his parental responsibilities. David has not attempted to contact Jenelle to speak with Ensley since March, and he has not provided any financial support for Ensley's care during this period. In fact, Jenelle has been covering David's rental fee to stay on the boat, amounting to about $1,000 per month. The judge has requested that David be informed of the court's decisions via email, and the next court date for custody and divorce issues is set for October. Implications for the future IEL. Judge's decision to grant Jenelle sole custody of Ensley is a significant victory for the teen mom star. It ensures that Ensley will be in a stable and nurturing environment, free from the uncertainties and potential dangers posed by David's living conditions and behavior. Jenelle's ability to make decisions about Ensley's future, including her involvement in the next chapter, provides a sense of security and continuity for the child. Conclusion. The custody battle between Jenelle Evans and David Eason has been a complex and emotionally charged process. The judge's decision to award sole custody to Jenelle reflects a commitment to Ensley's well-being and safety. As Jenelle moves forward with raising Ensley, she can focus on providing a loving and supportive home, free from the legal and emotional turmoil that has marked the past few months. The next steps will involve ensuring that David's psychological evaluation is completed, and that any future interactions between him and Ensley are supervised and in the child's best interest.